What is the difference between your ego mind and your higher self, and how does that affect manifesting the life of your dreams, the life that you want? We're going to talk about this today. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Welcome back, creators. Got a great lesson today, manifesting without effort, ego versus the higher self, or the ego mind versus the higher mind. And so what I want to say about this, guys, who you are, that higher self, that higher mind, or that God consciousness is who you are. That is real. That's permanent. It's real. It's who you, no matter what happens in the external world or around you in the manifested world, that never changes. It is that love, that peace, that source. You are source, right? You are that one with God. That's what the higher self is. It's that state that is indescribable. It's that energy that's hard to put into words. It's that feeling, a feeling of love that you couldn't possibly describe from your physical perspective. That is your higher self. It's always there. It's always changing. It's not something, a lot of spiritual teachers, they talk about realization, enlightenment. It's nothing, the realization really is, it's already there. You already are that. It's just dropping the other stuff that's covering it up and revealing it. That's what realization is. It's not something you need to go out and seek and acquire. It's already there. You already are that. It's a matter of tuning into it, right? Dropping what's false, so what's left is truth and knowledge and that pureness. So let's talk about this in terms of manifestations. So the ego mind is really turned outward. So it's the mind is the mind. The true self is the true self. That intelligent mind is who you are. But we create the ego mind because that's when it's turned outward to the external world. Whenever you're turning towards the body, the external world, that's the ego. It's the thinking mind. It's imagined and it's temporary. As real as all of this seems, right? And that my body feels real. Everything feels real. But it's not. It's coming through consciousness, right? Think of it as a movie. You're watching a movie. The movie screen is real, but the different images that come up, and so there's different images that get projected on it or through it, and those change. But the screen itself never changes. That's who you are. It's that unchangeable, right? The movies and the characters and the roles they play, those will change. But who you are, that love of who you are, never changes. So that's the ego mind. The higher self then is that higher mind. It's that unchangeable. It's the inner world. So where the ego mind turns outward, the higher self turns inward. It's that real, it's what's eternal. It's never changing, right? That is the solid you. That's who you are. That's why whenever you feel any discomfort, suffering, pain, anything that's less than bliss and joy, that's because you're in the unreal. You're in the ego mind, right? You're feeling that because you're creating that. Because who you are is this bliss. Who you are is this joy. Who you are is this peace, right? All that other stuff in the ego is made up. And we talked a little bit how to get there. We'll talk more about how to stay more into the higher mind, because that's important for manifestation purposes. We talked about this pure awareness and how to stay in that pure awareness, right? And again, it's really thoughts, guys. It all comes down to thinking. We think the world in. That's it, right? If our thoughts are joyful, if our thoughts are high elevated thoughts with high elevated emotions, then you're closer to that higher self, right? Well, you're never separated from it, but you're tuned in more to that higher self. You're not covering it up with anything less than joy and happiness and so forth. So the ego creates this imagined suffering, these obstacles, and it's only because as Byron Katie has said in her book, Loving What Is, because what is that higher self. What is that reality, that true reality. When we don't inquire on our thoughts, when we don't inquire, is it true? Because they're not true, right? Thoughts are made up. They're going to come and go. And it's only when we attach to them, when we try to get rid of them, when we dwell on them, either in the past or in the future, right? So the ego creates imagined suffering, obstacles, fear, doubt, worry. That all comes from ego. That all is unreal. Who you are is self with a capital S. That's the true you. Really, guys, fear, it's all based on fear, right? What is fear anyway? Right? Really, fear comes in really in two ways. It's fear that that you're going to lose what you have, right? You're going to lose what you have, or you're never going to get what you want. Fear that you're not going to get what you want. That's fear. That's where fear comes from. Either you're going to lose what you have, or you don't get what you want, and so you live in this constant state of turmoil because you're thinking about trying to hang on to relationships, to people, to circumstances, to money, to things, to promotion, to everything. All of that we're trying to hold on to. We're trying not to lose stuff, right? It could be, and it could be approval or affection, whatever it is. We're afraid. We're afraid of losing what we have. Two, we're afraid of not getting what we want: more approval, more affection, more money, more recognition. Right? More life, right? We want to live more. We want to live longer. We're scared of death, right? The greatest fear is fear of death, right? The biggest fear is fear of losing our life, right? And not being able to, not getting what we want, right? So this is where fear comes from, guys, and that's all made up. It's all ego. You are eternal beings. And we'll talk more about this in terms of, but this is why, if you're wondering why sometimes the techniques that you've learned from a lot of spiritual teachers that have been out there for law of attraction, law of cause and effect, all of that stuff, manifesting, even Neville Goddard's ways are very good as well. But in terms of thinking from the end, imagining yourself in the assuming your wish fulfilled, all of that's good. However, if you're feeling fear, if you're feeling those ego underneath that, if you have these sort of things underneath that slows you down, right? If you've got to get out of the ego, you've got to get more into that subconscious, which is that eternal part of you, that self. Yeah, we'll talk more about this, guys, in future videos. This is ego versus higher self. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness. We help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and share and like the videos. That's how we get our message out. With great love, this is Tom at Be Something Wonderful. See you soon.